Hello everyone and welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name's Rhiannon and as you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, today I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I plan on reading for Polarthon. Now, if you don't know what Polarthon is, it is a readathon hosted by Jade over at Jade Reads. It starts on the 5th of February and it's a readathon that focuses on reading polar fantasy books. I love Polarthon. I honestly think I've taken part every single time it's been on and I've been waiting to see whether it was going to happen this year, and I'm very happy to say that of course it is. Jade has just recently posted the announcement video, which I will leave linked down below for you guys. So if you would like more information about the readathon itself and the prompts and the hosts and all the background information, then please do check out that video. But this round of Polarthon is the snowball fight, which I absolutely love, and out of the three teams I have decided to go for Team Polar Bear. Now, I could have gone with Team Arctic Fox. All of the books that I'm about to show you today have blue covers, but if I complete these three books I do have another book that I would like to prioritise, and that one doesn't have a blue cover, but they all have foiling on the cover, which is the prompt for Team Polar Bear. So it just made the most sense to join that one. The aim of this round is to collect as many snowballs as you can, and 100 pages of your book equates to one snowball. Now, Jade of course has created some wonderful graphics, which I will definitely be using to track my reading, but as well as the snowball you get for reading 100 pages, you also get a bonus snowball if you read a polar fantasy, and another extra one if you complete your team's prompt, which, as I mentioned, mine is to read a book with foil on the cover. I feel like that is all the background information covered, but as I mentioned, if you would like more details then please do check out Jade's video. I feel like you probably have already, but just in case you haven't, it is linked in the description. And without further ado, let's dive on into my TBR. Now, I am planning on reading 3 books throughout the week, plus an extra one if I can manage that, but I feel like that is a bit ambitious, so these 3 would be amazing to get ticked off my TBR. Some of you may be able to tell what the books are from the lovely stenciled edges, but I have one older book here that I've been desperate to read for the longest time, and I have 2 new releases that have of course just come into my possession, and I again really want to read them because I feel like if I don't read them now I'm gonna put them off for way too long, and they do fit the prompt perfectly. Now, I believe 2 out of these 3 are polar fantasies. I'm not too sure about one, but that of course will come to light when I read them. I am planning on filming a weekly reading vlog for Polarthon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I haven't vlogged for a while and I'm definitely nervous about it, but I always love documenting my Polarthon experience, and that way I can give you my thoughts on these books in real time as well. The first book I'm planning to read is the one that's been on my radar for years, and that is The Bear and the Nightingale by Katherine Arden. I'm embarrassed to say that I haven't read this one yet, you guys. It is a Russian-inspired polar fantasy that has just had so much hype throughout the years, and I feel like this is still one of the most recommended series out there. And just to give you guys a sense of what this book is about and the writing style, I am going to read you the synopsis because the synopsis itself just blows me away. I feel like it's so well written and it just makes me want to drop everything and pick up this book. It says, beware the evil in the woods. In a village at the edge of the wilderness of northern Russia, winter lasts most of the year and snowdrifts grow taller than houses. Here, an elderly servant tells stories of sorcery, folklore and the Winter King to the children of the family, tales of old magic frowned upon by the church. But for the young wild Vasya, these are far more than just stories. She alone can see the house spirits that guard her home and sense the growing forces of dark magic in the woods. So I genuinely don't know what this book is about, but as I mentioned, it's a beloved series. This is the first book in a trilogy, and Katherine Arden is releasing a new book this year, so I would love to have read one of her books at least in order to know whether or not I gel with her writing style and whether or not I should purchase this new release. I feel like this isn't the most obvious foiling, but you can definitely tell that it's there. We have the gold foiling all across the front cover, and I'm just so excited to finally be picking this one up. This is on my 12 books to read in 2024 list, so I am happy to be ticking it off my priority TBR for the year. And yeah, I think I'm going to start Polarthon with this one just because I'm so desperate to read it, and hopefully it's going to give me all the cozy Polarthon vibes that I'm after. Next up we have The City of Stardust by Georgia Summers. This is a very recent addition to my shelf shelves, as I mentioned. It is the gorgeous Fairy Loot edition, and as you can see, the foiling on this is so reflective. It's a kind of holographic foiling, which I'm just obsessed with, and the landscape on the cover just screams polar fantasy, so I'm hoping that that is the case. I really don't know anything about this book, so I may be going into it with the wrong sort of expectations, but I am extremely excited for it nonetheless because it's a book about curses, which I love. And I'm not gonna lie, the redesigned cover of this is just drawing me in. The landscape is beautiful and I just think I'm gonna love it based off of the artwork alone, which is of course subjective, but yeah, I really do think I'm gonna love this one. In this book we follow our main character Violet Everly, and for centuries the Everlys have seen their brightest and best disappear, taken as punishment for a crime no one remembers, for a purpose that no one actually understands. Their tormentor is a woman named Penelope who never ages, never gets sick, and never forgives the debt. 10 years ago, Violet's mother left to break this curse, however, she never returned, and Violet is of course desperate to find her, not only to get her mother back, but also because if she doesn't, she will possibly meet the same fate. And then it just says here, her hunt leads her into a seductive magical underworld of power-hungry scholars, fickle gods, and monsters bent on revenge, and into the path of Penelope's quiet assistant, Alexander, who she knows cannot be trusted, and yet to whom she finds herself undeniably drawn. Tied to a very literal deadline, Violet will travel to the edges of the world to find her mother and the key to the City of Stardust, where the Everly story began. I'm hoping that this one is going to be a fast-paced book that I can just sit down and read in one sitting. Not only does the premise intrigue me, but the setting does as well. I cannot wait to dive in and just get immersed in this world and see whether or not our main character manages to find a way to break the curse. And then the last book that I'm going to put on my set TBR for Polarthon is Voyage of the Damned by Frances White. Now you can just see the lovely foiling on this one. Again, it's silver and I just love it. This is again a new addition to my shelves. I got this in my most recent Illumicrate box and I'm desperate to read it because it's a fantastical murder mystery set at sea, and that just has me sold. My favourite genres are both fantasy and murder mystery, so a combination of the two at sea is just a tick in the box for me. All I'll say about this one is what it says in the little snippet. It says 12 magical blessings, 12 days at sea, 1 chance to stop a killer and save the world. And basically we follow, of course, 12 characters who are all heirs to the 12 provinces of Concordia, which I'm guessing is the empire in this book. All of these 12 heirs, bar one, have magical abilities, so when one of the heirs ends up dead, everyone becomes a suspect, and stuck at sea with nowhere to run to, the odds of survival are slim, and as the bodies pile higher, our main character must become the hero he was not born to be. And it just says here, can he unmask the killer and their blessing before this bloody crusade reaches the shores of Concordia, or will the empire as he knows it fall? This is definitely a chunkier book, but I'm equally as excited to get to this one as I am the other two. I feel like The Bear and the Nightingale is at the top, as I mentioned, and then with the other two I'm struggling a bit as to which one I want to prioritise first. So we'll see in which order I get to them, but yeah, this is definitely an anticipated release for me. I'm very happy that it fits into this prompt, and even though it's not a polar fantasy, which is a bit of a shame, I am happy to be reading it in the week of Polarthon. And then I will just quickly mention the fourth book that I may read for Polarthon. Not gonna lie, the chances of this are slim, but it's a book that is on my Readathon TBR, so if you've watched that you'll know what it is. But if you haven't, spoiler alert, it is Amari and the Great Game by B.B. Alston, which again has lovely foiling on it, but this one is golden. This is the second book in a middle grade series. It's one that I should have picked up when it first came out, but I've just been putting it off for some reason, and so I put it onto my Readathon TBR in order to make sure I prioritise it, and the prompt for February is to read a book with positive words, and I feel like Great is an extremely positive one, so that is why I really do need to fit this one in, and if I can read it for Polarthon it would be even better. But in the first book, Amari and the Night Brothers, we follow our main character of Mari, and at the start of the novel we find out that her older brother Quentin has gone missing. Now one day Amari actually finds a briefcase in her brother's closet. When she goes to open it, it seems that this briefcase is addressed to her, and it's actually an invitation application for her to join the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. It's not as easy as that though. Amari will need to partake in some trials in order to get into the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs, and she will be competing against kids that have known about the supernatural world their entire lives. So it's up to Amari to try and figure out a way to get through these trials, because if she doesn't, she might not ever find out what happened to her brother, and as well as that, there is a threat on the rise as well that she will need to be ready to face. Not sure if I did a good job at summing that up. I haven't read Amari for a while, but I'm so excited to dive into the second book. Whether or not I will get to it is anyone's guess, but if you do watch my vlog for Polarthon, you will find out. So here we have the main 3 books that will be on my TBR for the week, as well as, of course, Amari and the Great Game. I do know that I'm being very ambitious here, as I mentioned, but these are just some books that I would love to prioritise, and I have been reading quite a bit recently, so I would love to keep up with my reading pace and get through some hopefully amazing books. Please do let me know what you think of my book choices down below, and as well as that, please do let me know which team you'll be in and what you're planning on reading as well. I love that Polarthon is such a community-based readathon. I love interacting with everyone and sharing my updates throughout the week, so it will definitely be fun to see what other people are reading, and I may be able to get some good recommendations. If you have made it this far through into the video and would like to let me know that you're still here, please go ahead and leave me a polar bear emoji down in the comments. I know I say it all the time, but seeing you guys comment the emoji of the video truly does mean the world to me. It baffles me that you guys watch these all the way through. So if you are still here but don't have anything in particular that you would like to say, please do go ahead and comment that now. As well as that, please don't forget to click the like button if you like this video, and the subscribe button if you'd like to see more content from me, including the Polarthon reading vlog as I mentioned. But that is it for me today, guys. Thank you once again for watching, and I will see you soon in my next video. Goodbye!